Well, there's always one hair sticking up, right? Oh, I might have something to explain. Listen, if you hear hissing in the background, don't get scared, okay? We have a new family member. We don't have a name for him yet, but he's totally adorable. Look at that tail. Anyway, hi. So, we're going to talk about coming food shortages. And I've read some alarming articles. And I think you might want to hear some of what I have to say. There's not too many. And, a lot of it you might already be familiar with, but there's always more. Hello, Off Grid. Thank you for sharing me out, Adrian and Paul. Thank you so much. God bless you. Links for Paul and Adrian's channel is in the description box, along with Daily Excellence. And Paul was just talking really great about what's been going on with the droughts and the shortages and everything. So be sure to check out the video he just got done with. I'm always glad to see you. Hello, Sunshine, Hardknack, October, Clarissa. Maybe y'all can help me find a name for him. But yes, Tootsie is in the introduction phase with the new guy. Gravy got away. Some evil befell him. Tootsie cried and cried and cried for like 2 weeks. So we got him a new. He hisses out right now, but at least he's not constantly crying anymore. So, bittersweet. Hello, Wendy. Okay, Hardknack is Wendy. I'll try. Very hard to remember that. I promise. Wendy. It's in there. All right, so let's see what's going on, shall we? Okay. All right. So I was looking through the articles and all the news that had been going on in the past few months, and they were saying that we needed to be looking at September, which we just entered, because of peak prices, famine due to hit, food shortages. I mean, there were just certain people talking about September. All right, and we're going to go over that along with a lot of other things, but I wanted to start with people that had in the past, like the past, say, 7 to 10 years, that were saying, hey, a famine is coming. There was a recurring theme about the Christians, and that there was a lot of them who didn't prepare despite all the warnings, because they believed they'd be raptured out before anything bad happened. Okay, bad is happening. And according to these people that had these particular, I knew famine was coming, but I didn't see the shock on the non-preparedness from Christians. That was other people. And the way they described it is the Christians were in shock. And they were starving. They didn't believe that they would still be here. But there you go again. Nobody knows when. All right. But if we can at least say as Christians that the 4 horsemen are riding and represent some of these birth pangs, the 5th seal, it talks about martyrs. That's last days. It's not tribulation. Last days martyrs. Who do you think they're martyring? It's Christians. Obviously, in my mind, there's plenty of evidence to show that we're still going to be here. We're going to go through some things. All right. And I don't want you to be that Christian that is in complete and total shock. I want you to be ready, like the bride of Christ is supposed to be. Ready spiritually, ready for whatever. You got that oil. Okay. I even started warning of coming water and food crises on this channel 5 years ago. All right. I even made a video when it comes to talking about the martyrs. It's called Will You Die for Him? 5th Seal Martyrs. That was a while ago. I think, I don't know, somewhere around 5 years ago, probably too. But in the last few months, there were headlines, reports, not just about food shortages, but the people that were talking about these food shortages were pretty important people. Like in April, Senator Ernst, she was warning of impending famine due to the Ukraine war and wanted the conflict overseas to end quickly. Obviously, no such luck. But she had said something interesting about sending over diesel to help them because of how much of the wheat that we get from them. And we did start having a diesel crisis. So it's funny that it's in line with all the news that a lot of the shortages we're having are of certain goods that are being exported. Diesel is totally suspect, right? In June, CBN reports that ministers and experts are urging people, this is June, just a few months ago, to prepare for global famine. In that same month, the UN sends a warning that global food crisis will happen due to war in Ukraine. So everybody was worried back in April and June about the food crisis. That didn't mean that the other things weren't happening in other places, like, say, the droughts in California and the flooding in other places, okay? The rice has been hit really hard, but we'll discuss all that too. Just going to check the... Patricia says, let's survive, shine, and thrive. That's right. Evening family. Hello, Janet. Sally. Railroads to strike in 12 days. A lot of stuff gets shipped by rail, including food and medicine. Yes. That's absolutely right. And, you know, for a while there, I was always just happy to see the truckers still going. And now it's the truckers and the trains. Like, I see a train. I mean, they're long, too, but you know, they got a lot of goods. You can see it, you know, the fuel, the chemicals that are needed, the certain equipment that's passing through, and it's just car after car. And I'm just a lot more patient these days. I'm like, go, you know. So this is very sad to see, but it's kind of normal human behavior historically when things are getting wet. So Patricia says, an article today said that September is the cheapest time to visit Hawaii. Yeah, they were saying that certain things like vacations are being canceled because people can't afford basic food. Yes. Clarissa says, I live near a main line for a railroad. My daughter and son work right next to a railroad coming up out of Houston. All right. Let's keep going. July came, and National Black Farmers Association President John Boyd Jr. went mainstream to issue a dire warning, quote unquote, dire warning, if Biden did not take immediate action. BlackRock, same month, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says people should be more worried about fuel. I could have sworn he said more worried about food prices than fuel prices. I think I got that backwards. But yeah, he said be more worried about food. He says peak food prices will hit in September because of the lag from fuel to food costs. So this CEO is saying September is when it seems like a lot of things are culminating in September for Rosh Hashanah, huh? Okay, August came around. World Food Program warned of looming global catastrophe by Director David Beasley. Says we have a global crisis. Farmers also that month are warning around the globe in a very freaked out way. They're not just saying, hey, now this ain't right. They are freaking out. They're cussing. They're throwing down the mic. They're like, you don't get it. You just don't get it. Right? That's just last month. Now September's here, and we're getting report after report after report. Things like limit on chicken, you know, how much you can buy. So the rationing is coming back into play, as well as a shortage on that. We've got commonly being said in the mainstream and the underground is wheat, rice, potato, tomato, chili peppers, olive oil, chickpeas, mustard seeds, coffee, and corn are big shortages. Like the rice is going to get much worse, the wheat worse, you know. And you know how much is made with all these staple ingredients. Like these chili peppers they're short on is why they're short on sriracha sauce. The tomatoes, that's why you've got a pasta sauce shortage and tomato shortage. Okay, hope you have those seeds and those pots and some soil, the chickpeas. So you got hummus shortages. Can you imagine some of these amped up coffee drinkers? Oh my gosh, but it doesn't end there. No. There's a booze shortage too. Now, a lot of Christians probably don't care, but things got crazy when they had some kind of abolition against alcohol before. And also, there's the hottie toddy, I guess. But regardless, I knew that eventually the booze would get hit. And so we do have an article that we're going to read. It's just showing you that everything is getting really short, but the booze you might not hear too much about. And this is about Narcity, Toronto. Okay. The LCBO is reportedly facing a booze shortage, and they're telling people to stock up now. Supply chain woes are impacting wine, champagne, and some spirits. This might very well put the boo in booze for some Ontarians looking to celebrate the holiday season with a particular bottle of bubbly this year, as the LCBO is reportedly facing supply shortages brought on by the pandemic. So I guess weddings, New Year's, I don't know, just all those celebrations that you might want to have a toast. They're facing supply shortages. I just knew this was coming. I really did. No more hottie toddies, huh? According to the Toronto Star, champagne, scotch, tequila, and wines that come from south of the equator are reportedly seeing delays en route to the Great White North. So you have those shipping problems. That's right, those shipping problems. Getting it. In terms of wine, that would include countries like Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. And I imagine as winter comes on, shipping's not going to be any better, so they might go completely dry for the winter. And much of the north, probably, too. We encourage customers to shop early this year for the best selection of gifts and holiday favorites. And that's been the theme the last few years. Before winter hits, get what you need. And back in the day, our ancestors used to get what they needed before winter hit. And this is just one of those years, so many warnings going out. In a statement to the Toronto Star News, explained that the LCBO is seeing some of the biggest supply chain challenges with imported products that are in high demand across the globe. In some instances, additional factors such as shortage of raw materials and difficult growing conditions also limit the amount of inventory available from some suppliers. Hold the phone. We're going with Gatorade. I haven't been feeling so hot the last few days. Flushing my kidneys a little. Anyway, shortages of shipping containers. We're probably all on the California ports. Shortages of shipping containers, glass, and metal are also reportedly causing week-long delays, as well as backed up shipping ports. All right. So they want patience. They're asking for patience. So that article is done. That was fun. I mean, really, that's an example of what Canada's probably going to continue to have, is shortages of a lot of things that are imported. I'm betting money. Not monopoly money, but I'm betting money. Okay. According to Epic Economists, food prices have jumped by 12.6% in the last 12 months. He just reported that today. And then one last article is it's literally called "Next Year's Food Crisis Will Be Different from This Year's. It Could Be Worse." Before we read that, is the reception bad? Oh, okay. We have had a lot of clouds here lately, a lot of rain. We've got a break in it right now. So if you are having problems, I'm so sorry. Y'all okay now? It's patchy. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and try to read this article, and then we'll end the live stream, okay? Let's see here. 27. I'm so sorry about the quality of this one. Dang it. Guess I'm going to have to just wait. Anyway, next year's food crisis will be different. It could change for the worse in 2023. The price of everything from wheat and sunflower to lemons has been driven up by the pandemic and war in Ukraine. The disruptions in the supply chain have been evident since the pandemic in 2020. However, these dislocations are made worse by the conflict they're talking about in Ukraine. All right. So, considering how bad the magnetic anomalies are getting and the magnetic pole reversals, the magnetics, everything that's happening to the earth, everything is only going to get worse. And that only makes sense. So if you had winter in Canada, it's probably going to be a super winter. Okay. So there's absolutely no reason at all for even Christians to not prepare while the getting is good. All right. Time is running out. You can see things just cut apart in the grocery stores. You're seeing it. People are telling you about it. Okay. Signal strong in sunny Hawaii. Oh, that's good. Patricia says char cloth, burning charred cotton cloth. Poly is toxic. Okay, cool. It's the devil trying to. Always is. I told you I've been going through some pretty serious spiritual warfare. My cat even turned up missing. Now I've got to name a new one, but he's cute. At least he's cute. He'll be going for surgery for his neutering soon. It's probably all these food shortages. Somebody ate him or something. I don't know. I don't know. It's just some craziness. Confirmation buffering. Yeah, and no, never. I've never heard of char cloth. Not personally. Never. Okay. What I've heard is the petroleum jelly cotton balls. Yep, I heard of that. All right. Nails, everything is going up. That's right. So this is going to be the year. You know, all those past videos I made, I was like, look, you're going to need backup power. Before I really understood the extent of what God was telling me, I thought, oh, we just might have one hard winter or something. I didn't even know if it was just the United States or Texas, but he was saying, tell them power outages. So, but now it's like, oh, you know, they keep saying the words dark winter. It's like, we know it's not just going to be in Europe. Things are going to be happening everywhere, because even if the grids were good, the magnetics are so bad that there's bound to be trouble. Internet problems, buffering, signals with your cell phones, things like that. So if you haven't been preparing, or if you know Christian friends that haven't been preparing because they think they'll be raptured first, they need to stop going on their own imagination, okay? They've got to understand that God's been sending through his prophets and messengers to prepare. This is historically how things go. Okay, they're being told. The last thing I want to see is a bunch of Christians in a long, long line to the grocery store, blocks and blocks long, starving to death with crying babies that are hungry for days. I don't want to see that. So if you do, spread the word. It's like, hey, you should be ready for anything. All right. They are. They're going to be those same people standing in that line. That's a lot of people. I've been preparing from before we were called preppers. Yeah, I'm a coastal hurricane child, so I always knew to be prepared too. A lot of times the water outages or power outages, they're sudden. They can be for nothing, like they're working on the lines, or a water line busted and they have to go fix it, you know, or they're working on the well. You know, it's just, you just never know when you need to have those preps ready to go. Oh, that's cool, Rick. Never heard that guinea pigs are good to eat. Don't they breed them and improve? I don't know about guinea pigs. I've eaten squirrels. That's all. But you know, I wouldn't mind eating a rabbit or a quail or something. You never know. You never know what we'll find out there. I've got BB gun that'll handle those smaller animals without tearing everything up. Yep. I've even had because I live in RV, there's not a whole lot I can put back, you know, especially not for a neighborhood with hundreds of people in it. But they were like, oh, you're not Christian if you don't share. I'm like, dude, I warned you all. You had more than enough time and opportunity. You have to be responsible. We all do. We can't necessarily depend on the grid or anything else. We're going to have to be more self-sufficient and, above all, clinging to God, because I do believe that miracles are going to start happening. I do. I believe that. BB guns. There you go. Mine's got a scope on it. Yep. It used to be my son's. It's hard to cock it, because you're going to have to bend it in half. But my daughter's strong. I'll have her do it, and I'll aim. Yeah, we're going to be eating. Listen, if you ever had a grandma, that they can pull anything out the cabinet and make this gourmet meal. And they'd always say stuff like, it ain't what you got, it's what you do with what you got. All right. That's going to be true. We're going to have to learn. After the flood, God said, now I give you all food to eat. They're not unclean. It's what comes out of the mouth that's unclean, not what goes in. That is what the Bible says. Yeah. All right. All right. So I just want everyone to be prepared. I hope you're ready. I know Kim is. She's got powders and everything. She's always making things I've never heard of. It's wonderful. A lot of y'all do that. I'm like, what is that? Chart cloth? What? Now I've got to know. There you go. Make sure you got your spices too, especially to grow them. And remember, rose petals, if you steep it in hot water, like, tea bags, it'll help reduce high fevers. It's always a big thing. And cilantro helps to take heavy metals out of water. Remember that. All right. I love you guys. Please share, like, subscribe. And I'm sorry again about the buffering. I promise I will be back really soon because I'm already working on the next live stream. All right, you guys. I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.